Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Comedy Therapy with Christian. And today's not just any other old episode. Today you won't have to just listen to me, which I'm sure a lot of you are happy about, listening to my horrendous voice. Today I have a very special guest with me, good friend of mine, media student. We were in a lot of the same classes together. We always, I don't even know what to say. There's no, I don't know where the hell I'm going with this, but she's a good friend of mine. We're always bullshitting, talking about movies. She was director of photography on my senior thesis film. She did a damn good job. We went through a lot of funny times, which some of those might be brought up today. But she's here. She's in the flesh. So, Juju, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the 4 people that are probably listening.
Hey, guys. So, my name is Juju. That's the name I was given when I was born. From Philadelphia. And came down to party with Christian today and see where this goes. I'm very excited. It's going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be very great. It's going to be exciting. And I don't know if you remember this, but when we first became friends, you might not remember this. I had just, I guess was like sophomore year, because I had known you. You were around, because we took intro with Josh and whatever.
What a guy.
What a guy. And then I had just gone to the AC/DC concert.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you had reached out to me on Facebook or something.
I think I remember
and
this.
So my natural reaction when anybody reaches out to me, I just go, fuck. And so I see the text and I'm like, and Juju says, hey, I saw you went to see AC/DC, and I know you don't really know me, so I'm sorry if this is weird, but I'm really not sorry. How were they? Because I love them. So that was the start of a wonderful friendship.
Yeah.
But how was your day going, Juju?
Oh, you know what, dude? It's going great. We just talked about this before we started, but the new Star Wars video game that came out, Jedi Fallen Order or something like that. I can't remember what it's exactly called. But I've been watching it on someone doing gameplay on YouTube, and it is so good.
It's good.
I'm a big fan of it.
I've been playing it,
Yeah. Is it like... Because I've just been watching it and like fast-forwarding through like the running around random moments that stuff isn't happening. Is it like a super easy like control game to play, kind of like Batman Arkham is? Like
there's definitely elements of Arkham in there. I had to change some of the controls, which you can do. Just because I'm used to playing Battlefront. So they kind of switched up a couple of things on the lightsaber and whatnot. So I started playing that. Trying not to let it take over my social life completely, my non-existent social life. But it's a fucking good game.
Yeah, the new droid in it, BD1, reminds me of my dog. His name is Max. He's a Yorkie, and he is so cute. And if you guys don't know who my dog is, just like watch this gameplay of this game. Because you will know who Max is if you just watch the droid. Oh, man. I am loving the game so far. Can't wait to get it. But, you know, any Star Wars fan would be very happy with this game, I think.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I think, you know, we'll probably get to talking about Episode 9 and stuff that. But I think that there could be a big... A lot of fans were disheartened after the 8th one. So Star Wars kind of lost a big part of their fan base. But I hope with these things coming out, like Disney Plus and the video game and the next movie, I think it'll win some people back.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you got those people everybody who's always like, if they're mad about, any saga, they're like, oh my God, that one sucked. Like, I'm never going back to it. And then 2 years later, they're in the seats opening night, like, this is going to be terrible. And they walk out and they love the film or whatever. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Bandwagon. It's like with a sports team.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, my Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, are doing terrible, and you got those people who are like, I'll never cheer for the Eagles again. And then maybe in a season or two, they're doing not too terrible. I'll be like, I've always loved them. Shut up. No, you don't. Yeah. You know nothing.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, man.
I had another funny story I wanted to tell.
Yes, go off, please.
So, and you're going to know exactly where I'm going with this.
Okay.
It was the day of graduation.
Okay.
And after graduation, I had decided, or my mother asked me, she said, hey, do you want to, family's going to be here, friends, whatever. Do you want to go out to Filomena's, which is my favorite Italian restaurant in the city? It's one of my favorite restaurants, period, anywhere. It's over in Georgetown. Check it out. It's super expensive, but so I go there and sit down with my crazy Italian family, and also a little bit of Irish peppered in there. And then Juju sits down with her family, and I kid you not, I can't even describe it. It was like watching a circus unfold before your eyes.
It really was.
There were races between how fast people were eating things. People were yelling across the restaurant, and those two tables were the loudest two tables I think that I've ever seen in a restaurant.
It was, like you said, it was an absolute circus. It was, when I walked down the stairs, because you got to go into this basement, to get into this restaurant. And the ambiance is incredible. I loved it.
It's great.
And
feels like
I walked down the stairs, and lo and behold, I see Christian and his family sitting waiting for a table. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are here too. That's crazy, whatever. And
what the hell are you doing
what
here?
are you doing here? And my family and I, we get sat down first, whatever. And then they get sat down right next to us. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, I could not stop laughing.
I'm screaming because I'm at one end.
Yeah.
And you're at the complete opposite end. And I remember screaming down, Juju, what did you get? And then you're like, I got what did you get? I don't even remember.
Probably fettuccine Alfredo.
Fettuccine.
That's the go-to for me, man.
That's the go-to. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other favorite Italian foods? I know you're an Italian.
Well, yeah, my family's Italian and Irish, like you guys. Uh-huh. My mom's side's from Sicily, and my dad's side is from Ireland. So we got the IRA and the mafia both in the family. It's beautiful. But man, I will, classic spaghetti and meatballs. You can't go wrong.
You can't.
Garlic bread.
Tommy Mezzacappa would agree as well.
Tommy. I was just thinking about that. So in our junior year of college, Christian and I were in this video production class. It wasn't like a media one. It was like it was an art
free for all.
Yeah, it was crazy, and we got to write our own scripts. It could be whatever we want. Yeah. It was just like a short film, basically. Mm-hmm. And Christian writes this amazing, hilarious mockumentary, a la The Office or Parks and Rec, and it's about this kid named Tommy Mezzacappa. Tommy Mezzacappa is coming from Staten Island or Long Island?
Long Island, wherever that. Yeah. Brooklyn, I think.
So somewhere in New York that heavy Italian influence, and he comes to Catholic or I can't remember if it was Catholic exactly, but
amalgamation.
But a university,
yeah,
and he's trying to find his quote unquote family at the university, and he starts putting out flyers. You want to be part of the mafia. So it's a whole thing of him trying to find this mafia family at college, and it is so funny.
What the hell was the name of that?
It was An Offer I Can Refuse.
That's right. Oh my God. I don't even know. I lost I didn't lose it, but my original hard drive broke.
No.
So that has everything from like sophomore and junior
Oh my
year.
God.
So
That's terrible.
I don't know if I will be able to recover it, but hopefully I will.
Man. I'll send you mine just in case, just so you have it.
Right, because we all did our own cuts of it, I think. So,
Yeah, we all shot it together, but we all could edit our own, so it was different, whatever. But
boy,
oh
yeah.
my God, that was hilarious.
We had good times in school. What's your favorite memory of doing something with media, whether it be in the classroom, outside the classroom, just, whether it was filming or whatever?
The one thing that I always come back to whenever I think of us working on a project, whether if it was just like me alone or whatever, it was when we were working on our thesis film senior year, and you, me, Bridie, Caitlin, Chris were all in the media lab together, and all ordered pizza bowlies every night. Put on as we're trying to work, we have the OJ Simpson Bronco chase in the background for white noise.
The original cut to the chase.
Oh my, yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
But I always think about how we all just hung out there and suffered together.
Oh yeah, because I feel like with each year, the suffering, it gets more and more incremental.
Absolutely.
Because, you take intro and like media history freshman year, which you can ask people for studying advice or whatever, but there's really nothing that you have to work on. But then I feel like once we got into like rhetoric and
that was not my forte.
No, me neither. But then we would get into the production stuff, and oh my God, like characters would just start to develop out of everybody. God. Everybody in the room was a character.
Yeah. Bridie would put on ABBA for a few songs, and then Fleetwood Mac would come on, and then Bonnie Tyler's holding out for a hero for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Those were good times.
Caitlin ended up, I don't know if you were there. I was definitely there, and I think Rue was there at some point, but she starts like jamming out to Green Day and Jesus Suburbia, and she's on, I have a video of her, she's on the floor just like, I love Billy Joe.
Oh.
like she's just...
And this was all brought on by the stress of...
my God, yeah.
Oh my God.
And I'm pretty sure one time we were supposed to be working on things, Caitlin comes in and puts on Arthur, like the Aardvark. So we start watching Arthur, and you know what? It calmed me down so well.
It's sometimes it's those little things. So like with your experience with that, because I know obviously you're trying to break into the same industry that I am. Yeah. When we did our senior thesis films, as far as our college experience, that was probably the closest we got to doing that. So did you find, because this is what I found, that when I was doing my movie, I was extremely stressed, but I enjoyed every single minute of it. Yes. And it was something I look back on extremely fondly. And it was something that I'm like, yeah, I could definitely pull my hair out, but also laugh my ass off at the same time. Did you find that, like working on mine or working on yours? Or?
Anybody's film, I think, at least in senior year, that was like one of those big films, whatever. Like, I felt super stressed out, super out of my mind, but at the same time, I was like, this is amazing. Like, we get to do this. This is crazy. And it was awesome, like, whoever's film I worked on, it was awesome, like, seeing the director work. Like, it was awesome seeing, like, your vision, like, you telling me how you wanted certain shots and everything, and, like, it's just so cool.
And we also had Muhammad!
Oh, Muhammad. Oh, I miss him.
Muhammad, if you're listening, please come back to us.
Yes.
Muhammad
we miss
was
you so much.
A godsend.
Really was.
I remember I was shooting his film, or I was working on it. I was doing audio for his. And it was a scene, we were filming at a hospital in Georgetown.
Oh, right, I remember this. Okay.
It's this scene where a nurse is breaking a patient out of the hospital. And
yes, that's right.
so they're running down the hallway, and there were these automatic sliding doors, but I guess they had not opened in time.
Oh, no.
Now, I couldn't see inside the doors. I was outside. They had mics on them.
Okay.
I was just listening to the mic. So I was hearing the conversation they were having before they were rolling. Yeah. And just like, I went to the store, whatever.
Whatever they were saying.
Fucking store. But so then whatever. Then you hear action. Then it's like, okay, here we go. And then I just hear, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then all of a sudden you hear,
no.
And these automatic doors went flying off the hinges and out into the fucking parking lot of this hospital.
I didn't hear about that. Oh
and
my God.
And Muhammad, the nicest guy in the world, is standing there like, okay, all right, this is going to be trouble. And they had a representative from the hospital who had to stay out there with us.
Oh my God.
And the guy's just like, we're going to talk.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
that's terrifying. I think the craziest thing that happened, at least on my set, I did this film called Villain Rehab. Check it out. It's on YouTube.
Won the award.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Best film.
Yeah, it was...
Cardinal Reels, 2018.
Yeah. Super unexpected, at least to me. I was not expecting that. But basically, it's about all these well-known supervillains in rehab together, and pretty funny. Everybody did a super awesome job. And during filming, a few of the villains are in it are like Loki, the Joker, Harley Quinn, all those guys. And guy who I got to play the Joker, Aaron, he won the award for Best Actor in it. Right. He was excellent. Mm-hmm. But there was this one part where he's talking to the new guy that comes in, and like they're all trying to figure out who he is and blah blah blah, and he brings out this pocket knife, and no one knew he had this pocket knife. So I'm standing.
That's always a great way to start a story.
Yeah, I'm standing in the corner shooting the second angle, and Bridie and Chris are over shooting the other angle, and I'm just like he pulled it out, like you can hear my my breath intake. No one knew that was happening, and I had to cut it right then because everyone was so concerned because this guy, Aaron, was being method.
Wasn't he union?
Yes, he was union. He was a union actor. I was not expecting that because our professor was like, try to get non-union actors because union actors have all these stipulations.
You got to give them lunch. They need to be fed.
Right? Yeah. And
paid somewhat.
This whole thing, and. I was like, he sent me his audition video, and he went all out, got in costume, face paint, everything. I was like, I don't even have to watch this. This is it. This is my guy.
Well, I remember I showed up, and you're like, and I'm like, so where's this Joker guy? Where is he?
Yeah.
And you go, and everybody just kind of quiets down. You're like, he's upstairs.
Yeah.
He's getting ready.
Yeah, he was putting on his makeup, whatever, and there would be times where you would just hear him laughing, and that was just him getting the character or whatever, but it was kind of ominous.
Yeah.
Which,
down in the rugby house, just
oh my God.
Women's
rugby house, empty as hell, and you just hear this maniacal laughing. And it's like, I mean, if this is how we're going to go, this is how we're going to go. We're doing what we love. But, he was super awesome. He was telling me, the weekend before we shot, he was on this shoot with Seth Rogen in Pittsburgh or something. And I think that movie I don't know if it was the right movie, but I think it was that one with him and Charlize Theron where she's running for president.
She's running for, right.
Yeah, I think it was that one, but I could be completely wrong.
I forgot what that one was called.
Yeah. But yeah, he was super chill.
He was a chill guy. It seemed like it.
He was awesome.
My favorite line from that movie still is, "Oh no, ma'am, not in this house."
Yes. I don't know when I wrote that. I think I was on like a bender because I had started new depression medicine. So I'm pretty sure I was like bouncing off the walls.
How's medication these days?
You know what? It's doing pretty good. I've been on this one that I'm on for about since the beginning of the summer. So like it's doing really well. And I just started this like folate supplement because I have this like brain deficiency that doesn't let dopamine and serotonin go through my brain as easily.
Shit.
Yeah, it's not super fun.
But
this
recommend it.
Yeah, this supplement is supposed to be super helpful in like letting all that good stuff go through and help medication whatever I'm taking, regardless of what it is. Go through easier than normal. So it's exciting. I'm feeling really good.
Good.
Therapy's great.
Therapy's amazing.
My therapist brought her cat the other day. Oh my God. I walked in. She's holding this cat, this gorgeous ginger cat, and her name is Ginger.
I would picture her sitting there like Dr. Evil, just petting.
Like, no, I told her when I walked into her office. She was like, "Oh my God, you're Vito." I was like, "You come to me in your time of need." I'm like, yes, I do. Actually, I have many things to talk to you about. This is not your daughter's wedding, but I still need some help.
You still need help, right? Right.
But no, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. So
good.
Yeah,
that's good because it's like I just saw my psychiatrist this morning actually. Yeah. And she's like, okay, let's check in, see how you're doing. My medication's staying the same. I want to get off at some point because I'm working out. I'm starting to eat right. I'm not seeing a weight change, and I feel like the medication's bloating me a little bit.
Yeah.
I used to be thin as a rail. I don't want to be like that
I remember
anymore.
videos of you, like there's a bunch on either Facebook or YouTube, and me and Caitlin were looking at them, and there's one of you just screaming, "Let's go Mets."
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, this is baby Christian.
It's baby Christian. It's pre-medicated, fully anxious Christian. And this may sound weird, but I like my movie was about anxiety, obviously.
It was excellent. You guys got to check it out.
Check it out. I forgot what it's. Get Over It. Yeah, that's what it's called. Get Over It.
I forgot the name of your own movie.
Yeah, I did. I really did. So it was about anxiety, and I had, you were on my crew, and you've struggled with anxiety, right? And it was, it wasn't like me trying to target people, but I wanted to make sure I had people who understood what the hell was going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And our lead actor, Trevor,
we love you so much.
He's great. Yeah, let's work together again soon, Trevor.
He was
I don't
excellent.
know if you're listening to this, but
he was amazing.
So I remember I talked to him, and we were doing the opening scene where he's having the panic attack, and I said to him, "You're standing off in the corner, like going over the script with Muhammad."
Yeah.
And I go, "Did you?" I'm like, "Have you ever had a panic attack before?" And he says, "No."
Oh, Trevor.
And I go, oh, well, this is going to be fun.
You sweet summer child.
So then I just remember yelling across the way, Juju. And you're like, yeah. And then I'm like, we're going to have to explain to him what a panic attack is like. You're like, this is going to be fun. And it took us a little while. Like, he was very good at following the instructions and following the direction. And it was great to be like, okay, this basically feels like start off with the physical aspect. Somebody's got both of your lungs in their bare hands and is gripping on them, crumpling your rib cage. And then you're getting dizzy, you're getting this, and every single worry and every single doubt that you have about yourself
that you've ever had in your entire life.
That you ever had, and about anybody else around you, is going to hit you all in the span of this panic attack. And that could last for days, that could last for minutes. So for you, like, do panic attacks, like, happen to you frequently, or is it...
That's a really good question. At least not not so much recently. I've definitely had a few within the past maybe month or so. But when they get at me, like, it's just like I feel like my skin is buzzing. Like I can just like feel it. I'm like, oof, something's about to happen. And if I'm like able to like sit down and watch television, get my mind off of it, or like just get my mind off of it in general, I tend to like feel okay. But sometimes it's, you know how they just get so bad, nothing can fix it.
Sometimes I get so anxious that I can't stay on one thing on the TV. I go, no, there's something better to watch. I can't get into a 3-hour movie right now.
No, I feel the same way, dude. Yeah, totally. Like, we were just talking about this before we started recording, but like, when I'm in the movie theater and it's a long movie, like when I went to see Endgame, I can't sit in a movie theater for a long amount of time. Like 2.5 hours, like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are about 2.5 to 45 minutes, whatever.
Reasonable.
And they're okay. Like, I can sit through them if they're not bad. And disclaimer, Pirates of the Caribbean was my favorite. Yes. They're my favorite movies. Yes. But anyway, like, that 2.5 hours, that's all right. When it gets past 3, I will start getting nervous. Like, I need to move around. And Endgame was okay. Like, it was only 3 hours, so it wasn't terrible. Right. And you were saying The Irishman is 3 hours and
29 minutes.
Yeah, 29 minutes. Yeah. I could not do that.
That's
like, I'm ready for the Netflix release so I can pause it, walk around, do a lap.
Come back to it. I can't even, because that's the thing. Like, I'll get so panicky sometimes about watching something. And I just remember when I was going to see The Irishman, I did it like in the middle of the day, and I'm like, I'm not even going to fucking ask anybody to sit through this with me, because I'm just like, and most of the people when I went there were there by themselves. So I'm like, you either got to be really interested and really invested in seeing this movie. But I just remember getting anxious about, like, this is going to take up a large chunk of my day. So I have to set aside certain things that I do in my unemployed lifestyle. And,
big mood.
And so I basically, I would... lost my train of thought.
No, you're good. It's okay. We were talking about being in a movie theater and
for a long time.
Yeah.
let's follow up on that.
Yeah.
I am a big supporter of still going to the movies and watching movies. To me, that was always an experience to share that with your friends, with your family, whoever. And, like, even if you've seen a movie already and you want to go with somebody else to show them that, like, I love that sometimes even more.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'll ask you what your experience was, but my experience, especially in this age now, where going to the movies has almost become a sporting event. Where it's, because I remember the single most fun movie experience I ever had was when the first Avengers movie came out. Okay. I had not seen, I maybe saw like Iron Man before that, and then that was it. I had not seen any of the other movies, but it looked like a cool movie, and I'm like, all right, I'll go check it out. It was freshman year of high school, and I just remember I show up, and I bought the tickets in advance, and it was out already a couple days, but these people, there was a line around the block, people in costumes, people were getting up and cheering and laughing and fun. Like just everything. And I felt like I had shared in that experience with people.
I love that.
And to me, going to the movies and sharing that kind of authentic, that's like me going to a comedy show. I love, there's just something very indescribable about sitting around and laughing with people and sharing in that moment.
Yeah, sharing that emotion, like basically the same emotion in a huge group of people is so amazing. Most recent thing I can think of is Endgame, going to see Avengers Endgame, and that was an incredible experience. I don't think we'll ever have something like that again in our lifetime. Maybe, future generations with Marvel or whatever. But the one time I really remember going to the movies and just like being so shooketh. Is Pirates of the Caribbean 3 came out in, like 2007.
Yeah.
And it was...
Jesus, it was that long ago?
Yeah, it was a long time. It was like May 2007. And my cousins and I, Nate, Joe, and Sam, have been huge fans since the first one came out. And it was towards like the end when it was going to get out of theaters or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we're like, oh, let's just go with, and we're going with our parents because we can't drive. We go and we're expecting it not to be, empty. My dad had to like sit on the stairs because there were so many people there to see it. And I was not expecting that at all because it was not the best one of the trilogy because I don't look at the four or five because they're terrible.
Fair enough.
But yeah, and it was like people seeing it for the first time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was amazing, and just there were so many. The whole room erupted in laughs and like shock when you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
When Will gets stabbed at the end, like like I was like, how have you not seen this before? It was like that's the one, at least the first movie experience I had that I can honestly remember people just exclaiming their emotions outwardly and not just being like watching it.
And it's so wild when you experience that because to me, like I had that Avengers experience, but the next one, as far as like a cultural phenomenon, was when Force Awakens came out.
Oh my God.
And
yes.
I remember there was just this, because it was our freshman year of college.
Yes.
And there was, I cannot remember a time like this where everybody was talking about Star Wars.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who you were, where you were from, whether you were interested in it or not. Star Wars was being brought up everywhere you went. I went on the metro like the day after I saw it. And I kid you not, people up and down the aisles from all walks of life talking about Star Wars.
Amazing.
And talking about whether they'd seen it or saying, dude, you got to check it out. Because it was a big deal. Because we had the prequels, which were...
there's so many bad things and so many good things about them. Yeah. Like, you could spend an entire episode talking about the prequels.
Which we should someday. We could do a whole prequels review.
Honestly.
But, like, we had the original trilogy, which most people hold fondly above. Yes. Like, Empire Strikes Back, not Empire. Return of the Jedi is my favorite.
Okay. I can dig it.
Which one's yours?
I think the best one's Empire, but my personal favorite is Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
I love
that one.
Revenge of the
so
Sith.
that one is the prequel that I love and I can watch anytime. But as far as when 7 was coming out, it was because it was finally a sequel trilogy that we were getting. It was going to take place 30 years later. Harrison Ford, who shunned off Star Wars questions for 30 years, was finally coming back. And it was, I just remember feeling like it was Christmas morning. Like, Christmas sucked that year because Star Wars had already come out. I'm like, shit, like, this is nothing.
I think it came out, like, December 17th. Like, it was a Christmas film.
And I was just blown away. I sat next to this dude who was sweating like a fucking maniac in a Chewbacca costume.
Oh, my God.
And he's even making the sounds.
Stop.
And I'm like, Jesus, this, but I loved it. And I'm like, I cannot complain, right? And there was this whole culture in the theater, like when people would get up before, or when they were coming in before with their snacks and everything, like, have a good time, guys, enjoy the movie. Like, this is gonna be great. Like, it's fucking Star Wars. So just to have that kind of cultural phenomenon around movies, I hope that continues. Yeah, because it is the age of the blockbuster that we're in right now. And it's always been that way, but it's in a certain different vein now. Yeah. Which I actually wanted to ask you about this, now that we live in Star Wars and Marvel, even DC now to an extent.
To an extent.
To an
exactly.
extent. Not quite there, but
Yeah.
to an extent.
They're trying.
What do you think of this whole Scorsese thing with the not that Marvel movies aren't cinema or something like that?
Okay, well, here's the thing. My dad and I were actually having this conversation because anytime I bring there's a commercial for Marvel or Disney Plus or whatever, recently anyway. And Dad's always like, "Well, that's not cinema," just to get under my skin because he knows it does. And I have to disagree with Mr. Martin. I think that any film, any movie, whatever you want to call it, that brings about so much emotion from not even even just one person can be considered cinema.
Yes.
Marvel has, while it is a huge monopoly in my personal view, it has brought so many people together, so many friendships, so much money, and we're seeing heroes and stories that have never been seen before. Especially with the new Disney Plus shows coming out with Miss Marvel and She-Hulk and all that stuff, Moon Knight. Never seen those characters besides maybe in animated shows before. It's super exciting, and that comment to me from any of the guys coming out that are saying that, I think is completely wrong.
Yes.
What doesn't make it cinema? That's what I want to know. You know, you never said anything about the Terminator movies. You know, because they're
the actual quote.
Yeah, their action movies and Marvel's action movies, whatever. I guess it just doesn't make sense.
No, I mean, here's. I'm looking up the actual Scorsese quote because I understand where he's coming from. Stupid.
To a point, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from, and I get it that he's like the crotchety old director now that's like, get off my lawn.
Yeah, right.
But he said, here we go, I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, so he did say that, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, I disagree with that, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. Now,
yeah,
I
have some thoughts.
Yes, I have some thoughts.
If you want to bring in the emotional component, I guess that he is, literally watch Iron Man 1 and watch Robert Downey Jr. just in the first 30 minutes.
Well, yeah.
The amount of, character development from when he gets captured and the flashback to how big of a, asshole he was to coming back to the U.S. and being like, we need to stop all weapons tech, whatever.
Which is a cinematic trope, and it's something that you see in any movie, that here's this guy who's a fucking asshole and is just an almost horrible person who builds this suit just to save himself and get out of this cave, just to save himself so he can go back to his lavish lifestyle so that he doesn't have to live amongst the people. He was a horrible person. And to see all that play out, there's a lot of emotion, with Pepper, with
Pepper.
Whatever. And I cannot believe... What is that noise?
I think
somebody's vacuuming.
Somebody is vacuuming in the hallway.
Oh, boy. Clean up on...
Is this ASMR for you?
7. But, and that's the other thing. In Endgame, I don't want to spoil it still. I'm still afraid to spoil it.
That's okay.
But, it's still fresh, kind of.
I mean, some people might be getting Disney Plus and haven't seen it yet, so I completely understand.
Exactly. So there are 2 pretty major characters that wind up dying.
Yes.
And when I was there, I went with all people from CUA, so maybe
I
this was
remember.
biased.
I remember you going. Yeah.
But the theater was weeping.
Yes.
Weeping.
Yes.
And I heard people blowing their nose, just sniffles, and we walked out and people's eyes were red.
Yeah.
And if you're saying that's not emotion, that's where I disagree with you. Where I agree with him is he's coming from a place where studios are not going to hop all over his movies anymore.
Yeah, they're not going to hop, like you were talking about, I think, in the past few episodes. They're not going to hop all over independent films because they're going to go for the Transformers and
they're going to go
Avengers
for all the shit that's going to bring in the money, no matter how shitty it may be.
Yeah, like, Now, listen. A few things you need to know about me if you don't know me already. I love Thor, Loki, and all those idiots in the Thor universe. The worst Marvel movie is Thor: The Dark World.
Okay,
I think.
I agree. Yep.
Loki's the only one that saves it.
Because the first one's kind of nostalgic. It's kind of, it's happy.
It's like, it sets up Thor,
little,
it sets up Avengers 1, and Thor, The Dark World kind of set up the Reality Stone, and
correct.
It sets up Thor 3, obviously.
Right.
But
it was kind of like a necessary placeholder.
Yeah, it was a Order of the Phoenix of the.
I hated that movie.
Me too. Well,
honestly,
I wanted to talk about Harry Potter in a second, but sorry. So, but like they had to make that movie, and it sucked. I did not like it. I watch it because Loki is my favorite,
and he's pretty
Marvel
good
character.
in it.
Tom Hiddleston. Listen. He is one of the best actors. He's so good. I'm actually seeing him in his play in New York.
Oh, really?
In December, yeah. So I'm very excited to see him.
It's supposed to be very good.
Yes, yeah. We're seeing Rue and I. We're going to see him closing night. So
cool.
There's like a 99% chance that he's going to be acting in it. You know, not just the understudies, whatever.
Make
if
sure
they
you
have
stay
understudies,
after for autographs.
Exactly. Yeah, but I think they all did. Natalie Portman, Chris Hemsworth, all of them did fine in the movie. Like they played their characters,
as he said, the best with what they could.
Yeah, and it all depends on the script. To me,
yes.
Like if it's a good script, it's probably going to be a great movie. But Thor: The Dark World was not.
No, and another problem with that is, aside from Loki and like Thanos or. What was the guy from Black Panther? Killmonger?
Oh, God, he was amazing.
Aside from those, Marvel shits the bed a lot of the time with their villains.
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
very hero, character-driven movies about the heroes.
Absolutely.
Like Civil War, we didn't need a fucking villain in Civil War.
Yeah.
They had enough going on that that guy was so unnecessary.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'll give Civil War a lot of credit. It's not my favorite Captain America movie, but it's set up for Infinity War and everything, and I thought it was.
And it gives good payoff once
it does.
Tony and Cap come back together. But
my God. I cry.
But like with Dark World, the stupid dark elf that they had,
Jesus,
Malekith.
Malekith. Listen, you could do so much with Malekith. I'm reading a comic book arc right now called War of the Realms. He's phenomenal. Like, there's so much you can do with Malekith, and they didn't.
Right. But back to Scorsese.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
He is saying this coming from a place of, I have to go through Netflix now to make my movies.
Yeah.
And like, granted, I think it was very good for him, and I think he's always wanted to make a 3.5 hour movie to tell a complete story.
Totally.
And I think he did a good job with it. But don't say that the movies don't convey much. First of all, I don't like people judging anything before they've seen it.
Absolutely.
It happened with the Joker, which we're going to talk about.
Yes.
And to me, I think it's just like, you gotta see these things before you fucking judge them.
I agree.
Don't be like, oh, well, there's no emotions in it. Okay, do you want me to talk to you about how many of my friends cried? Do I want to talk to you what I brought up with in therapy my next session? I'm kidding. I didn't. That's.
I went to therapy to talk about Endgame, because Endgame and Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, like one of the... what supposedly was supposed to be one of the hard ones, came out on the same weekend.
Oh, shit.
I went to therapy on Monday.
That.
Yeah, on Monday, and the following Monday, and I was like, I have some things to talk about.
But isn't that what's so great? Because... and that's when people ask me, why do you love movies so much? Why do you want to get into it? It's because you can take these characters that you don't know, that don't exist in the real world, and people will care about them as if they're your best friend. And that's all the credit to whoever's making the movie and whoever's acting, that you feel like you've known this person 100. Like Robert Downey Jr., every single time he's on screen as Iron Man, I feel like he's my best friend, and I've known him for like 500 years.
Yeah.
And it makes me be like, if there's one celebrity I can hang out with in Hollywood, it's RDJ, and just like bullshit. Like not do anything in particular, just sit down like this and just bullshit.
I love that.
But it's such a testament to movies in general, that because TV series have this luxury where you can tell it over 23 episodes a season, over multiple seasons. A lot of room for character development, a lot of room to take your time. Movies, you sit down, 2 hours is probably the average of where most movies sit. You got 2 hours or so to tell your story, and you get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to overblow it, and you don't want to undertell it also.
Yeah.
Like, I'll even say Dark Knight, which is my favorite movie of all time. You don't need Two-Face at the end of that movie. I don't think.
Okay.
I think there was like a half an hour you could have cut out of that.
Okay. I can feel that.
I don't know if it would have been as good a movie if they cut it out. That's part of what's beautiful about it, is you get to make your own judgments about these things, and it's subjective. But anyway, you have a list with you, don't you?
Yeah, your girl has a list.
Some of your favorite movies.
Yeah, I just like brought a list with me, just in case like we ended up talking about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I've been watching a ton of movies lately.
Good.
That I've been telling you about, and a lot of ones that have been on my watch list for years.
Yeah.
That I've, thank God, been able to watch pretty recently. Some upcoming movies that I'm very excited about, / like if they're already out already, I don't know. And in case we ever had gotten into it, I had some like TV shows, whatever. So anyway, favorite movies that I got. I already talked about how I love Pirates of the Caribbean. The second one is my favorite. Dead Man's Chest can do nothing wrong. That actually won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects that year, with the Kraken and everything. It was gorgeous. You're talking about The Dark Knight. Dark Knight is also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I think to date is probably my favorite Marvel movie. It is right up there. Like Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame are right up there with it, and the first Avengers is Gladiator with Russell Crowe. My favorite, one of my favorites of his.
Joaquin is also in that movie.
Yes, he's excellent. He is excellent.
Joaquin. I'm going to go on a Joaquin binge.
Please do.
I need to watch Walk the Line. I need to watch...
Me too. I just watched Her. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I want to watch Her. I want to watch The Master.
Okay.
There's a lot of shit I got to...
Yeah, I haven't watched a ton of his stuff, but I've seen Gladiator so many times, I feel like I've seen so much of him. And my dog, Max, is actually named after Maximus. And Max is a 5-pound idiot whose half of his weight is in his fur. So, Star Wars, obviously up there. Revenge of the Sith, my favorite one. I think the best one is Empire. The remake of It with the Skarsgård guy.
I never saw it. I have to see it.
I'm not a big fan of horror or scary movies. I've been trying to get into them because I know that there are some classics, some really great films that are scary that you just got to watch. Like Blair Witch.
Original Halloween.
Freddy and all those guys, Jason and all that stuff. I need to start. But I think it came out in 2017. Not
we
Chapter
were in Junior
2.
Sim.
Yeah, Junior Sim. That's right. And it came out, and I watched it with two of my best friends in the entire world, Alec and Julia, and they had seen it already, and they just wanted to watch me, scream. And I did not get as scared as I thought I was going to be.
I heard the movie's quite funny, actually.
It is. Yeah. It's
like
weird sense of humor.
Dark humor.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Joker, which I'm getting to.
We'll
but
get to. We're building.
I really loved that movie. I really thought it was well acted, and all the kids in it were excellent. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen the newest one. I haven't seen Chapter 2 yet, which is on my list to do. Mm-hmm. But I'm serious. Like, if you want to see it, 2017, you need to. I
need to, because I'm like you. I really don't like horror movies. Texas Chainsaw.
Oh my god!
Whoever the villain is in that, like shit face or something.
Shit face. Oh my god!
But I like horror when there's a purpose. When it's very story. I don't know if you saw Get Out.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list.
I honestly loved that movie, and I'm not at all a horror. Or A Quiet Place, same thing. I don't know.
Another one I need to watch. Yeah,
that was one where I don't like horror, but it was all extremely story driven, and there was a lot of motivation, not just people getting killed left and right for no apparent reason. I think that's what it brought to the table. It was because all these kids are trying to figure out why this clown is all over the place. What's the deal with this red balloon? Why are all these kids disappearing? And they try and figure it out, and it's phenomenal. It's kind of like a mystery.
Yes, I really loved that film. Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
it is probably my favorite animated movie right now. My favorite one of all time is Beauty and the Beast.
Mine's Toy Story.
Oh, that's a good one. You know what? Toy Story is pretty good. We grew up with that, so that's special place. What's your favorite of the
Toy Stories?
Yeah, of the 1 through 4.
I did not see 4.
I saw it. It was okay.
I heard it was emotional.
Oh,
like 3,
yes.
3, I cried my eyes out.
Yeah,
at the end.
Me too. 4, I cried, and I went with my two friends, Alec and Julia, and Alec and I cried, and Julia laughed at us.
Yeah. That's because I remember when 3 came out, it was a long time after 1 and 2 had come out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And even now, like with 4, it's another 9-10 years. Mm-hmm. But to me, it was like I had watched 1 and 2 as a kid so much, and then I was watching this as like a preteen,
Yeah.
And then now, if I'll eventually watch 4, which I hope I do, I'll be watching it as an adult. And so I've kind of seen this go. But there's a lot of great humor and great moments that they have in those movies.
Yes,
and
they're very good.
For some reason, I feel like you have to know this movie because I was talking about it the other night. It was... Oh, shit. You ever seen Hoodwinked?
I definitely... It's like Red Riding Hood and all them. I definitely have, but it was years ago.
Oh, my God. It's just like... It's one of those... The animation is shit. It looks like some kind of LSD fever dream.
Yes!
But the jokes are so corny and so bad that they're just fucking good. And go and watch Hoodwinked, I'm telling you.
I know I've seen it whenever it came out and when I was little, and even then I had a very picky palate for movies.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah, so I was like, this looks bad.
Prior to The Dark Knight, I had only seen animated movies and comedies. It was not... That was the first serious movie I ever saw.
Okay.
Which is why that changed the landscape. That flipped the switch for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely knew that, but hearing that again, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, Dark Knight came out when we were in like elementary school, something like that. My
2008?
parents, yeah, my parents wouldn't let me watch it because
my mother took me to the theater to watch it.
Yes, my parents were like, I don't know, it's too violent. And I'm like, I've seen you people watch The Godfather. What do you mean it's too violent? That's another one, The Godfather 1 and 2.
Oh,
I've never seen the third one, and I don't really care to.
Third one, I'll tell you something about the third one. Yes, it is the weakest one. Yes, it's still got nominated for Best Picture. It's still...
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
the main thing that people complain about is that Francis Ford Coppola's daughter is in it, Sofia Coppola.
Yeah.
Who's a director now because she failed at acting, because she is a god-awful actress.
Oh,
and anytime she's on the screen in the movie, you're like, fuck, what is she doing here? But I think the third one shows an extremely emotional side of Michael that you had not seen before.
Okay.
And I think that the ending genuinely shocked me in the movie.
Really?
I was genuinely shocked about the ending, and
Okay.
I enjoyed the movie much more than I thought I would. But Godfather, the first one, I can watch with my eyes glued to the screen. And that's a long movie. That's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I can watch that with my eyes glued to the screen. I'll just never forget the first time that I saw Sonny get out of his car.
Oh my god!
When he found out that Carlo was beating the shit out of Sonny's sister, Talia Shire, who I can't, Connie.
Yeah, oh my god! Right.
And he gets out, he starts beating him with fucking garbage cans. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching? But that's another one that it's just. Yeah. That movie's going to stand the test of time.
We actually, our professor for screenwriting,
that's right.
He had us watch that in class, the entire film.
Yes,
and
it took like 3 weeks.
It did take 3 weeks, and it was only a 1 week class, so 3 weeks.
John Klein,
Johnny, John, if you're listening, thank you so much.
If there's anybody out there like Pink Floyd,
That was a fun class. Liz Shoemaker was in that with us.
That's where I met Liz.
Caitlin.
We had a bunch of characters in that class.
We did.
You want to talk characters?
My God, that was a fun class. We can talk about that later. But fun class. If you go to Catholic and John Klein is still teaching it, go take that class.
Yeah.
What else? Kong Skull Island. I loved it.
I liked it. I don't remember loving it, but I only seen it once.
Yeah.
I did like that Godzilla movie that came out. That most people didn't like.
I have not seen the Godzilla movies yet.
It's pretty. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't see the King of the Monsters one that just came out, but I know that they're setting these up so that Kong and Godzilla.
I just loved the cinematography of
one,
he is, and Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson.
Shit, yeah, that's right.
It's the Loki. Carol Danvers team up I never know I wanted.
Yeah.
But I just loved the cinematography of it. I thought it was gorgeous.
Yes, it was.
And it was very different from all the Kong movies we've been used to, like the one with Jack Black in like 2004. And it was just so colorful and a narrative that we never heard before, and I'm a big fan of that.
It was a very interesting take on the story.
I was a big fan of that movie. It's not one of my favorites, but it has sat with me for this long. Joker.
Let's go.
Dude.
Let's fucking
This film, I did not know what to expect. Going in, I really didn't know what to expect.
Neither did I. I honestly was not looking forward to it because I thought I was going to be really disturbed by it.
Mm-hmm. It definitely disturbed me in a way that was good. Not like I have nightmares about it.
Nope.
And I'm a big fan of comic books. I read, Killing Joke is one of the best ones.
Right.
And when we were watching this movie, there's like callbacks to The Dark Knight Returns from Frank Miller in like the 80s. Killing Joke, obviously, because you don't know if his backstory is completely true. Like in the Killing Joke, Joker doesn't even know. Yeah. It was like, I remember it one way, I remember another, and it all kind of mashes together.
Yes.
In Dark Knight Returns, there's the scene of him being on a talk show and killing everybody in the audience. So when he was on Robert De Niro's talk show, I thought he was going to kill everybody.
Yeah. By the way, we're going to get into spoilers, folks. So just, if you don't want to hear this part, so be it. But we're going to get into spoilers.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to see the movie, you would have seen it by now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely go see it. He puts on a performance.
I never saw anything like it.
It was
honestly
incredible. And you were talking about this too. Someone asked me, Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix. I'm like, you can't. While they are very similar in a lot of different ways, they are not the same Joker. And My favorite Joker. I can't say who's the best because that's...
I think I know who you're going to say.
Yeah, my favorite's Heath Ledger. Then Joaquin. Then Mark Hamill from the animated series is...
Love Mark Hamill's Joker.
Jack Nicholson and Cesar Romero are tied. I used to love... And then
way
Mr. Leto.
Down at the bottom.
Mr. Leto, I am so sorry, honey. I know you tried so hard, and I appreciated it. It was a different take, and you shot for the stars, but you missed.
Just equally as painful as Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor.
He thought he was cast as the Riddler originally. I saw that somewhere.
But Joker, I just remember... Every so often, there are movies that come along that remind me of why I love movies. And Joker is one of those. And it always happens to be an extremely disturbing movie that makes me think about that. Very rarely is it a happy, like, feel-good movie. Like, did you ever see Prisoners with Hugh Jackman?
Oh, that's when his, like, daughter gets abducted or something. I've never seen it, but, again, on the watch list. Watch
that movie. It's him and Jake Gyllenhaal. And I remember watching that. It is so dark. You know Roger Deakins, the cinematographer? He shot that. So it's gorgeous. And the movie is so fucking disturbing.
I love it.
And twisted, but it's just one of those things that makes you think. Dark Knight, kind of a twisted movie also, even though it's a Batman movie. Kind of. You know, there's this guy who puts war paint on, who's sticking knives in people's mouths, telling them a different story every time about how he got his scars.
It's
fucking weird. But I loved that. As far as like a happy movie,
another Killing Joke thing, like he just that's incredible. I love it.
Another movie. You ever see 42?
Oh,
with Chadwick Boseman.
Yes, that was excellent.
I love that. For some reason, that movie I just smile at the end of that, and I'm just
so
like,
good.
it's feel good. Like Harrison Ford's in it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I haven't seen it in a while, but I thought Chadwick was phenomenal.
That was where I first became aware of him.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And I'm like, this guy's fucking good.
Yeah, when they announced him as Black Panther, I was very excited because I knew he had the chops for it. I love him a lot.
There's this movie, The Joker, that comes out. And I remember hearing all these conflicting reports saying, especially when this thing was getting shot, which they kind of fast-tracked the project also. They did it extremely quickly.
Wow.
It all came together in like 2 years, which is unheard of.
Wow.
Like pre-production and post. Everything came together in 2 years. And, you know, that's impressive for anybody. But it's impressive when you make it an unbelievably good movie.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh, this is going to be fucking creepy. For one, I didn't want to go see it because I'm like, Heath Ledger holds such a special spot.
Oh, my God, yes.
That I'm like, I don't want that to be ruined. But I eventually had to get myself to a point to say, it's not going to. If anything, it's going to enhance it and make you appreciate it even more.
Like even if Joaquin did not do as good as he did, you're gonna appreciate how incredible Heath Ledger was. R.I.P. in peace.
Yes. So this is the way it's shot. The music.
Oh my
God,
dude! The waltz he's doing in the bathroom, like I think about that every day.
Every day.
Every day. When I'm in the bathroom, I'm just like, why can't I dance like him?
I think we're going to go to those stairs in the Bronx. We're gonna fucking...
yes, please.
There's really no other reason to go to the Bronx. But,
except going to see a Yankees game, but that's about it.
Yeah, we won't get into that. So I remember it was the scene where he had just murdered the guy in his apartment. He let the midget go, which was a great moment because it was very Shakespearean in the sense of Shakespeare would always do this thing where I forgot what the term for it was called, but if you read any of his plays, Macbeth, Hamlet, you know, even Romeo and Juliet, it's in all of those. He does this thing where there's little bits of comedy sprinkled in either right after something tragic or right before something tragic happens. And that was one of those moments where he's just sitting there covered in blood. And he looks at the guy and he goes, "You watch the Murray Franklin show? I'm going to be on tonight."
It's so good.
I just remember, I'm like, this guy is nuts. And I saw it 3 times. Third time I saw it was with my mother. And she leans over to me after that moment, and it's when he's going into the elevator. He's about to go down to the stairs. And she goes, "If he doesn't win for Best Actor," she said to me 5 minutes into the movie, she's like, that's your Best Actor.
I love it.
But she goes, if he doesn't win, she's like, I'm never watching another movie again. Because she's like, that would just be highway robbery.
I've heard, just a little segue for Best Actor noms. For Rocket Man, I think Taron Egerton should get
Did you see that?
nominated. I haven't seen it yet, but
awesome.
I've seen clips, and I thought he was phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good. It's a fun movie.
Another one, our friend Liz, she's a huge Adam Driver fan, but she saw Marriage Story the other day with him and Scarlett and Johansson, and she said that he was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it was a actor's script.
Yeah.
Like, it was
I believe
perfect.
Scarlett directed that.
I don't know, did she?
No, actually, maybe not. No, it could be.
That's
totally
okay. But she said that he was great, and she's obviously wanting him to win. And she said that, you know, she was looking at
Has she seen Joker?
No, she has not.
Why not?
She said she's just not a fan. And I was like, you know what?
You don't have to be.
You don't have to, but you know.
No,
I think she knows that. Or we were talking about it yesterday, and she's like, I know that he, you know, did a great job, but she's still pulling for Adam Driver, and he's another great actor.
Well, he is. And
like,
he's in a couple movies. He's in like one about the CIA too.
Yes,
and Star Wars, and
I think he's great as Kylo Ren.
Story.
I think he's great.
I love that character.
Me too.
I think it's a great character.
He's so angsty.
Extremely conflicted. We've never seen someone on the dark side as conflicted as he is.
I love him. At least in the movies. I know in Darth Vader, like, books and all that, like, extra
I haven't
stuff.
read much of I'm trying to get into the Thrawn books right now.
Okay.
But
I haven't read any of Thrawn, but there's a comic book stuff. It's basically just called Vader, and it's really good. It shows how damaged he is, like, really, and he's excellent.
I started to read this one a little bit.
Okay, it's called Lords of the Sith.
Yes, this is not a visual medium. Comps. But there's a lot of good movies coming out. Ford versus Ferrari, I'm going to check out. Honey Boy, I want to see the Shia LaBeouf thing.
Yes, I got to write that down.
He's a nutcase, but he's another one of those people where you take him out of a Transformers or Indiana Jones, and you take him out of something like that, he's a great actor.
Yeah, I think he's great.
He's fucked in the head.
Oh my
the
God.
dude
Poor
is.
kid. I love him.
I mean, but this movie, he's playing his own father in the movie.
I give him major props.
Oh,
and
dude, that's like the biggest therapeutic breakthrough you could possibly have.
Another great movie he's in, Holes.
John Voight, CUA grad, is in that movie.
I forgot he was in that.
Mr. Sir.
Oh my God, Sigourney Weaver's in it.
Sigourney Weaver.
Oh my God,
I saw that when I was in we must have been like 5 or 6.
We were really young.
Yeah,
that's a great movie.
Holes. Yeah, I read the book. I remember the book.
I definitely had. We had to read it for like summer reading or something.
A summer reading.
A few other movies that I'm a big fan of, and then I have a bunch of upcoming movies that I'm excited for.
Giddy up.
Ocean's 8.
Ocean's 8.
I love Sandra Bullock. I love all of those women that were in it. I thought were perfect. I'm excited for Ocean's 9. Whenever that comes out. I'm a big fan of.
I've never seen any Ocean's movies.
Dude, oh my God, you gotta see them. My dad, huge fan of the original with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and all them, and then the remakes with
like
Brad Pitt and George Clooney and Matt Damon.
That's
and
like
he even,
11, 12, 13.
Yeah, 11,
like
12, 11, 12, 13. And then Ocean's 8 is with George Clooney's sister, Sandra Bullock. So, George Clooney's...
she's...
No, oh my God, no. No, they're related. They're completely related.
Holy shit.
No, so Danny Ocean, George Clooney.
That gives me a whole different perspective on Gravity, let me tell you.
Oh my God, Gravity.
I don't like that movie. I did not. I have no qualms about saying
I thought Sandra Bullock was great.
Yeah.
I'm
an Interstellar
It was a
guy.
distressing movie for me.
Yeah. I'm an Interstellar
Interstellar is
guy.
good. Yes. Yeah. You love Christopher Nolan.
I'm a big Nolan guy.
One of my favorite short films of all time. It's a Disney Pixar one. It's called Kit Bull. Have you ever seen it? It's I'm not going to spoil it, but it's basically this stray kitten and this pit bull kind of living together, and it's so
cute and another
cute.
tearjerker.
Oh, it's a tearjerker.
How Disney rips your fucking heart out every time.
You know what, dude? This is only 7, 8, 9 minutes. Yeah. It ruins you.
Yeah,
it is. The animation's really cool, and story's excellent. It's phenomenal. You got to see that one.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, so definitely look it up. The Bourne trilogy.
Oh, those movies are so good.
The one with Jeremy Renner I was all right with. Whatever.
The fifth one with Damon was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was not awful by any stretch.
But the first three are excellent.
Ultimatum.
They're always on in our house.
Holy shit, those movies are so good, and like even the slowest of them, I consider the second one, which is Supremacy. I think
Identity, Supremacy, and Ultimatum. Yep.
Even that is like so action packed and like. Oh shit! And I didn't see those movies till I was in college, and I'm like, how could I have not seen these movies? They're fucking awesome.
They were always on in our house whenever they were on like USA or any other network. Dad would just put them on, and Mom would always be like, "Have we seen this one already?"
Matty D. You ever seen The Martian?
No.
Oh, you got write The Martian down. That is Juju. You will love that movie. That is another movie that makes me love movies because I just had so much fun watching that movie.
I think my mom has seen it.
Oh, it is so good.
I don't know if she's seen it. But yes, okay, that's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Bourne, Zodiac with Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr. Yo, this movie
fucked up.
I just watched it this summer. And I've been getting a lot more into true crime, and I've been watching or listening to this amazing podcast called My Favorite Murder. If you haven't heard it, these ladies are hilarious. And I'm a big fan of the Zodiac Killer. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase. I'm a big fan of the
I was going to say, let's unpack that.
True crime part of Zodiac Killer. I'm not a fan of what he did.
No, as you shouldn't be.
and I was watching the movie, and on my birthday in like 70. Oh God, it was in the 70s, obviously when he was active, but he committed one of his crimes on my birthday in the 70s and killed a woman, but the guy lived.
So you hid under your table every single... When's your birthday?
27th of September.
So every 27th, you're just fucking like...
I'm just like, remember when that woman died? No, but that...
That's a very, like, thought-provoking movie, though.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Gyllenhaal's like a cartoonist, right?
He's a cartoonist at the... God, I don't remember.
Some paper somewhere.
Yes, at the paper, and Robert Downey Jr. works with him.
He's like the asshole, like,
asshole.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah, and...
He plays that role good.
He does. And their newspaper keeps getting the notes from the Zodiac Killer. So it's during his murder spree, whatever.
Sure.
And one of the guys who is one of the... suspects...
God, how dare you on the air?
I'm so sorry. One of the suspects actually went to Catholic.
Really?
He came to...
I remember he was in that
Came to
McDonald's movie.
Yes,
Founder.
The
Founder. Oh, fuck.
He was also in American Horror Story, a bunch of the seasons.
Big dude.
Looking for it right now. What is his name? But he was great.
He was he was really creepy.
Yes.
In that movie.
John Carroll Lynch.
That's right.
That's
right.
Is in Fargo, Shutter Island, Gran
Island's a good one,
Torino, Face Off.
Gran Torino, I just watched for the first time this
I haven't seen it yet. Good. Okay.
Good.
But yeah, that's one of my absolute favorites. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
The third one has its issues, but I love Venom to death.
I think
they did a terrible job at Venom in this movie, but I love Venom.
Yes. I don't think the third one deserves as much shit as it gets.
Okay.
I do think that they tried to take 20 pounds of stuff and shove it into a 5-pound bag.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a huge fan of Tobey as Spider-Man.
Oh, I thought he was great. Yeah.
Ixnay, the dancing, whatever the hell. You can see where dancing works in a movie like Joker, or where it doesn't work. But I did like the whole, because I was not aware of the whole symbiote, mythology surrounding it, how it makes him like a darker person.
Very fun.
First time I watched that, I'm like, this is pretty cool. What did you see the Tom Hardy Venom?
Listen, I have it literally on Blu-ray. I have not been able to watch it yet. For whatever reason, I just haven't put it in.
Because I heard critics shat on it, but fans, it's like a cult classic. People loved it, and they're going full steam ahead on a sequel.
Yes, I'm very excited to watch it, and from what I've seen, Tom Hardy, perfect.
I love Tom Hardy. He's so
great.
Underrated.
He's great.
His day will come.
My dad is a huge fan of Tom Hardy.
He is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Bane.
He's great.
He's a great Bane.
His Bane, iconic.
Yeah. Oh.
It's iconic.
I love that movie too.
Yeah, that's
a great.
Obviously not as good as
Dark Knight, but that's an impossible.
Very, very good.
It's a very good way to wrap up the trilogy. I thought.
And I'm sure you know this because you're the hugest fan that I know of The Dark Knight. But in the novelization of The Dark Knight Rises, they tied off the Joker's ending.
Yes.
They were like, oh yeah, and because Arkham was abandoned after the Scarecrow thing in Batman Begins.
Right.
So they just put him in abandoned Arkham just alone, basically.
I might have to read that novelization.
Yeah. It was just a hot minute of where's the Joker?
Because
basically.
that was one of the things about that movie. They don't mention the Joker once in that entire movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really what catapulted Batman into this state. Not Harvey Dent.
That was a huge, and I'm sure it would have been totally different if Heath Ledger survived.
Yes, I do think he would have been. Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix Joker might never have even happened.
Right? Yeah, totally.
So
you never know with all that stuff. But I was either on Twitter or something. Oh my God, I was on Twitter or something, and I saw just that page, and it was maybe a paragraph about it, and it just, if they added that, maybe they did it and it was a deleted scene or whatever, but if they added that in the film Dark Knight Rises, it would have been just so much easier for us to be like, okay, everything else is fine now.
Right. Because he didn't die at the end of Dark Knight. He got carried away by the SWATs. That's it.
Yeah. Oh well. Another great movie that I just recently watched on the 5th of November, V for Vendetta.
I was going to say, it better be the Guy Fawkes movie. I want to watch that. Tell me about it. I haven't seen it.
Okay. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge fan. I don't know how I hadn't seen that movie before this year. Yeah. It's obviously very political. And it can be, brought into so many different, today's problems, which I appreciated because I just, watched it that way. But it's not as good as the graphic novel, but it does such a good job. Natalie Portman's in it. She's great.
She's always great.
I
mean, Padme, but
she did
again, best what she had.
She's great in Black Swan too. I really love that movie.
Oh, that movie's that's another twist.
Crazy. I really like her. And God, what's his name? It's Elrond from Lord of the Rings.
Hugo Weaving.
Yes, he's the
he's
phenomenal.
Great too.
He's great.
Red Skull.
Yes, he is Red Skull.
Megatron.
No way, he was Megatron.
That's Megatron.
Oh my god!
In the movies.
Yeah. He's great in it. The movie is very chaotic, very good. I'm a huge fan. That is a tradition I will have now every 5th of November.
That's it. People who I talk to are like, you have to watch it on the 5th of November.
It's so good. It's so good. Another Lord of the Rings. Huge fan of the trilogy. The
I
Hobbit
never saw the Hobbits.
It was okay.
I read the book. I figured that was enough.
Yeah, you're good. The movies were okay. I'm a big fan of Smaug. I love the character of Smaug.
Who does it? Is that Cumberbatch?
That's Cumberbatch. Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. I thought he was phenomenal.
Yeah. He always is. He's another.
He's
really
great.
Good actor.
I think his accent is a little, bad in Doctor Strange.
His American accent, really?
It's not. Because I've seen him in so much. I watch Sherlock and all a bunch of stuff he's been in, so I can just hear.
The one whose American accent bothers me is Henry Cavill, who played Superman. And again, that's nothing on him. It takes time to learn the accent.
Oh yeah,
but
listen to us talking about people doing accents. We can only speak an American accent.
I can only speak in Brooklyn, so I don't
Brooklyn.
Brooklynese.
Yeah.
You got any other ones you want to mention?
Jurassic Park movies, Jurassic World.
I
have feelings about it.
I'm going to tell you something about Jurassic World.
Go for it.
Loved Jurassic Park, obviously. Loved it as a kid. Saw Jurassic World the entire last 15, 20 minutes of that movie.
The first one?
Yes, Jurassic World. I had goosebumps.
Oh, no, the fight is incredible.
When the T-Rex comes out and he lets out that roar at the end. I wanted to fucking stand up and just cheer. I saw that 4 times in the theater.
Really?
Because I had a lot of fun watching that movie.
I liked the first one. The Lost World, yes, it did make me cry.
But it's Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, it is Jeff Goldblum. But it just when you're putting a amazing movie, Jurassic Park 1, to these remakes, reboots, whatever you want to call it, up against each other, it is so hard to say Jurassic World is good in comparison to Jurassic Park.
That's I very much agree. I think
that goes for literally any reboot of anything to me.
I think I didn't like the Fallen Kingdom. I thought there was one moment that made me very sad.
Yes.
That I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's been out for a few years, so I don't care.
Fuck.
The if you've seen it, I think you know, but
they leave a dinosaur on the island to die.
Oh my god, the Brachiosaurus.
Yes.
The first time I saw it, I sobbed. I sobbed.
And then, it was weird to me because the rest of it took place in a mansion.
Yeah,
and supposedly this next
Batman-esque.
one, supposedly this next one is going to be very much like Jurassic World.
I'm excited for that.
There's going to be just dinosaurs all over the fucking place, and they don't know what to do.
I'm excited for that. I think that'll be fun. American Psycho with Christian Bale.
You like Huey Lewis in the News?
It's so good. It's so good.
He kills the Joker in that.
He does. It's excellent. I still don't know what all happened in that movie, and that's another one that you can watch over and over again and have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's a weird movie.
It is. Interview with a Vampire with Brad Pitt and
Never
Tom
saw
Cruise.
That.
Yo, I just watched it. It is so good. I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of vampires anyway, but
the one thing I know about that movie is Guns N' Roses did a cover of "Sympathy for the Devil" that's in that movie, supposedly.
Yes, it's at the very end. Yeah. Yes,
that's the only thing I know.
I love that. It's it's fun. I really liked it. Kirsten Dunst is in it.
She's great.
She's
she was the best MJ.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love Zendaya though, and
I do love Zendaya. It's a very different, and I didn't like her in the first one. Liked her a lot better in the second one.
I feel that. Yeah. Yes. So definitely see that. It's really fun. Hocus Pocus. I mean,
I have not seen Hocus Pocus.
Oh, dude! I just watched it for the first time last year because my parents wouldn't let me watch it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's fun. Bette Midler's great. Have you ever seen NCIS, the TV show?
No. Well, I mean, on and off.
Yeah, the guy who plays McGee is in it when he was a little kid. And I was just like, I'm crying. It's fun. Silence of the Lambs, classic. One of my favorites. Jaws. Ugh, I love Jaws. And last one I have on here, which I'm very surprised that it's still stuck with me all this time. Vertigo.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we watched it in that class last year, Juju and I took a class that was amazing, and it was once a week, and you watched amazing. A movie every week, and you brought food, and you bullshitted, and it was fucking nuts. I walked out of fucking, what was that movie? The Guillermo del Toro, The Shape of Water. Do you remember that? I walked out.
Yeah.
And I did not come back to class.
I was going to walk out of Passion of the Christ because it gave me a panic attack.
Yeah, Passion of the Christ was brutal. I hated that Natalie Portman movie also.
Annihilation.
Oh my God, it was too weird for me.
Loved it.
Oh shit.
It's
anyway,
very weird.
But which one? Vertigo.
Vertigo. Yeah.
When we watched that a second time, that's when that resonated with me. Really.
I was a big fan of Vertigo.
It's one of those. I'm not a big Hitchcock guy, but
I don't know why it stuck with me for so long, but I just really like it.
Yeah. It's good.
So those are all like my movies that I just love.
Yes.
Like if it's on, it's going. I'm just putting it on. Some upcoming / new movies that are out.
Yeah.
Parasite.
Did you see it?
Haven't seen it.
I want to see it. Liz
These are all
raving
movies that I
about
have not seen yet that are kind of new.
Yeah.
Liz said it was great.
Yeah, she was raving about it.
It's I'm pretty sure it's going to be a contender for Best Picture this year. Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining.
Yep.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's in it. Very excited to see that.
Can't wait for my Obi-Wan TV show.
Oh my God. Me too.
Yeah.
I love him. Jojo Rabbit is something I need to see.
Go see it.
Yes.
Go see it.
Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
Yep.
I'm a big R. Pats guy. Like
he's going to be Batman.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's going to be really cool.
I might have to become an LSD addict before I go and see The Lighthouse.
I love it. I love that for you. Marriage Story, which we talked about.
I want to check that out.
Frozen 2.
Never saw Frozen 1. As shocking as that is.
That is very shocking. I loved Frozen. Idina Menzel, who is Elsa, the Ice Queen lady.
The Ice Queen.
She was the first Elphaba from Wicked when it started on Broadway, so I'm a huge fan of her. What else? 21 Bridges with Chadwick Boseman. That's about
I want to see that too.
Cops and his whatever. Look it up.
Look it up, people.
The Mr. Rogers movie, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Tom Hanks is just the consummate, just cool guy in Hollywood, and he's the coolest,
Hollywood's dad,
nicest guy in the world. And I'm saying it like he's been my best friend, just because he's been in so many iconic movies.
Yes,
and he's just a cool guy.
He is awesome. Knives Out.
I really want to see Knives Out.
It looks fun.
It looks a lot of fun. It's got like a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Exciting. That's exciting.
And Ryan Johnson needs a little bit of redemption right now. Not from me.
Not from me either.
But
you know what? I've seen Last Jedi so many times because I used to work at a movie theater that also served food, like restaurant type of thing. I can't say the chain, but because whatever. I worked in Last Jedi all opening weekend and the second weekend it was out. I am pretty sure I have seen that movie probably 25 times.
Shit.
So
most people would consider that to be like Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of tired about it. So, like watching it, I thought it was good, but me and my one friend there like had the choreography and the lines to Kylo Ren and Luke's fight
battle.
Yeah, battle, quote
unquote
at the end. So we would do it in like the back, like when you're going up the ramp to the seats, like we would do it there. Like,
I'm sorry. I'm sure you are.
I love him.
But Knives Out.
Yeah, Knives Out. Queen and Slim. That's with David Oyelowo. From
he's great.
I'm so sorry if I butchered his name. I'm white. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is we're both very white.
That looks very interesting. I'd love to see that. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It's gay, so obviously.
So obviously,
I gotta see it. I have Bombshell written on here, but that's about like the Fox News, Megyn Kelly, and the women taking on Roger.
I did see that.
So
that looks really interesting.
It interests me.
Yes. Could go either way.
Yes, all those actresses in it, I am fans of, so I'd like to see.
Who's in there? Nicole
Kidman, Margot Robbie, and Charlize Theron. Oh, so yeah. I'm big fan, and Kate McKinnon's in it too. So I'm big fans of all of those four ladies, and like to see how that goes. Mm-hmm. Star Wars: Last Jedi. That's coming soon. I
haven't gotten my tickets. I haven't gotten them
either. So that's big. 1917.
Yeah, that's all in one shot.
No way.
No cuts in the movie. There's not going to be any cuts.
Ooh, I'm a big fan of that. Yeah. I'm very excited. That looks really good.
It'll make the cinephiles happy.
Yes. The remake of Little Women with who's Emma Watson, I think, is in that.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole cast, like I was like, okay, this is fine. Yeah, right. Birds of Prey. That's coming next year.
Birds of Prey, yeah. I'm really hoping for a win on that one.
Again, Margot Robbie was phenomenal as Harley Quinn.
She was born to play that.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah. And I don't think the Joker's going to be in this at all, so it'll be fun to see her and
because her and Mr. J broke up.
I know. Amazing. And this one, because they listened to the public, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. With Jim Carrey.
Yes. I am...
The new trailer that came out, and it just looks different.
I'm blown away.
Yeah. You're like, well, people didn't like that.
Yeah. I'm blown away that they actually listened and just didn't go through with it. Uh-huh. So I'm most likely going to go see that because they, like, listen to us. And then... Yeah, and then this isn't on my thing, but the new Wonder Woman movie, I think, is in 2020, Wonder Woman 84 or something like that.
1984, yeah.
Yeah, 1984. So that's another one I'm excited for. I think Gal Gadot is great as Diana.
And I had a lot of trepidations about it going into it.
Really?
Because she was a model. I'm like, she hasn't really acted. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going to go on here. Mm-hmm. But she's great.
Yeah, and I really loved Wonder Woman. That's another one of my favorites.
That was a fun movie. Mm-hmm. Chris Pine was really good.
He was fun.
I'm a big Chris Pine fan.
Yeah, he's good in the Star Trek movies.
I love those new Star Trek movies.
I haven't seen the latest one.
The latest one was good. Star Trek Beyond, I think.
Yes, I haven't seen that.
And I was never like a Trekkie. I never watched like any of the. I know there's thousands of other Star Trek things that are out there. I just was never on that train.
My dad was a huge... He's not like a geek. He's like... If anything, you'd look at him and be like, oh, soccer, baseball, football, like sports jock dude. He loves Star Trek.
Really?
Oh my
that's
God.
That's a popular thing. I mean, the show was on when a lot of our parents were kids.
Yeah. And when I was really young, he had me watch Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and when he's doing the impression of William Shatner in one of the Star Trek movies, I'm like, Dad, what is that? So he sat me down and like had me watch like that scene from Star Trek. Like, okay.
Not the rest of Ace Ventura.
No. We have traveled back in time.
I can't do it, Captain.
I don't have the power. That's
that movie.
So good.
When he's sliding the glass door, going, or when he's,
I have exorcised the demons.
This house is clear. When he is in the dress at the mental institution, in the fucking tutu.
Jesus.
And he is reenacting a play in football. And then he goes, I could do that in an instant replay.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh. And people either love that movie or they hate it. They're like, oh, it's so fucking stupid. I'm like, I don't care. Stupid is funny.
Watching it in like modern age, there are some glaring problems for me, at least with it. But yes. I think he's so funny.
I'm
a
big Jim Carrey. Dumb and Dumber, The Mask.
Oh, The Mask is so good.
The Mask is really good. And what are the other? Bruce Almighty.
He is good in that. Yeah. Grinch.
Oh, the Grinch.
The Grinch.
He is. If that movie didn't have him, because the rest of that movie is weird. It's weird. Like, if that movie didn't have him, I don't know.
I don't know if it would have been as successful or well loved as it is. At least today.
And he had to sit in the makeup chair 8 hours a day.
Yes.
And he told the story about this on an interview. He had some guy from the CIA come in. He was retired, but his job at the CIA was he would train guys on how to withstand torture. Like if they're captured by the enemy, and like how to not give up information and just withstand it. Because somebody like Jim Carrey, who's a fucking maniac and is always bouncing off the walls, him sitting in a makeup chair for 8 hours a day and then 6 hours to take it off every single day.
Oh, my God.
And he said it felt like he was being buried alive. He would literally lose his mind. And they had some guy from the CIA come in to train him.
My God.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. That's crazy.
That's commitment.
Yeah,
but
I love that. That's amazing.
Well, Juju,
Christian,
we've gone on for 1 hour and 36 minutes here.
I'm so excited to hear myself.
I'm gonna. This will go up tomorrow. We're
so
pre-recording
excited.
this, folks.
Jeez.
But thank you so much for coming on.
You know what? It was a pleasure. I was so excited to come down and see you again and be on your podcast. When you put out your first episode, I was like, oh my God, I need to be on this. I think I texted you that day. I was like, Christian, this was so fun.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first when you started talking about Starbucks and how anybody can give advice at Starbucks. I told somebody about that and they laughed. They were like, oh my God, that's such a good...
Anybody can give advice at Starbucks. You could be the biggest moron in the world and be like... give advice on how to do differential equations.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on. I hope you all enjoyed our conversation. It was a great conversation.
It's always a pleasure. And Liz and I are hopefully starting our own podcast soon. So
excellent.
Things are still being worked out there, and hopefully you will hear from us soon.
Yes. I want to hear it.
Hell yeah.
And I'd love to have you back on again.
I'd love to be back.
And I knew that I wanted to have you as my first guest, so there you are. As my first guest. Well, folks, you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed our conversation, and remember to tune in Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. For Comedy Therapy with Christian. I know this was a movie-heavy episode, but if you don't like that, go suck on a fucking rock then. Because we do what we want. All right. Everybody have a good one. Talk to you on Thursday. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.